previously we have talked about how safe is Taiwan, but in today's video, I want to take this maybe one step further and also ask how strong is Taiwan if it does come to a military or other kind of attack from any other nation towards Taiwan.
Air and missile defense capability is probably within top 3 of the world.
Absolutely.
Of the world, okay?
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. The density of Taiwan's defense capability, I know MND doesn't want to talk about it that much, but if you know the numbers, Taiwan has a significant air and missile defense capability.
Going back to one thing that the media often gets wrong, though, I've seen a lot of other huge YouTube channels and media outlets that seem to have the idea that if China wanted to launch an invasion next week, they could. And that is just completely false. There's no way that they're years out from having enough equipment and training to launch even an attempt at a successful invasion.
Mm-hmm.
When you say this, I trust you like 100%.
Thank you.
But what makes you say this? What is this based on, basically? Like what would be required to actually launch this invasion?
If they want to succeed, not just attacking but taking over Taiwan, as a military planner, you want to focus all of your strength in the center of gravity so that you can complete the fight quickly, like we did in the Gulf War, okay? Dragging it out is not the way to win a war. For China to do that, like Topher said, they will have to mass forces, and that mass will be discovered. And during that strategic warning time, coalition forces who doesn't want to see Taiwan fall into the communist hands will be forward deploying. So,
you mean like there would be like a geographic difference in the Chinese troops, or like how will we see this like more concrete?
You start to see a lot more amphibious assault ships being built. These are called landing craft ships. And although they do have a lot, they don't have nearly enough to bring enough soldiers that would be needed to invade Taiwan.
But you know what they have increased? The Ro-Ro ship. The ship that's roll on and roll off, like they bring Mercedes-Benz to Taiwan.
Giant ferries.
Giant ferry ships that's civilian looking. And if you look at the recent exercise during the past 2 years, they have loaded their tanks and stuff. And those ships, when they offload, they can offload a couple of hundred tanks, 10,000 people at the same time.
Yeah.
Amphibious ship. One ship.
One ship.
Huge ferries.
The world's fastest and largest Ro-Ro ship belongs to China, and they are building Ro-Ro ship like there's no tomorrow.
Those Ro-Ro ships are great at moving a lot of equipment to a secure port. Trying to do something in the heat of combat.
Well, that's another thing. That's the last Hangguan exercise this year, because I think the U.S., we have seen this as one of the most dangerous scenario is, you look at Taipei port. You know what Taipei port is? It's a Ro-Ro port. That's where all the cars come in. The space, they can go 7, 8 Ro-Ro ships at a time, and they have 3 exits. And from that, they have Highway 64 that goes straight into Taipei. And if a portion of it goes next to Dan Strait River in Bali area, they secure Dan Strait River, those air cushion ships can go right into Taipei, okay? So if they, just like the Russians, they try to get in Kyiv, remember? Why? Because they want to capture Zelensky and have him declare, I surrender, stop fighting. I think China, in order to achieve that kind of victory, of quickly strike and get the victory before other countries can help, they need to capture Taiwan's political leader and have somebody, if the president's dead, maybe somebody that they have installed previously declare, okay, stop fighting, we give up, Taiwan give up. It's a very dangerous scenario. That's why I think they're building the Ro-Ro ship, because they want to be able to quickly take over. And how do they take over the port? If you look at Taipei port area, how many areas can land helicopters? They are huge grass fields. They are huge areas where paratrooper can come. I suspect if they want to capture that port, low-level helicopters will come in, because helicopter can fly low, fast, and drop 20, 30 people at a time. They just need a couple of thousand people to help secure the port, prevent reinforcement coming in. And these Ro-Ro ships can be just off the territorial water of Taiwan because they're civilian looking. 17 nautical miles away, 12 is the limit. They can be there in 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and within an hour, they're offloading. Of course, Taiwan's exercised this,
right.
and I suspect if necessary, they'll destroy the port and not allow Ro-Ro ships to offload. But it is a dangerous scenario. What if Taiwan cannot secure the port or destroy the port? And then it becomes a big issue But Topher started right. We would know beforehand when they mass this type of capability.
Yeah, the human intelligence, the spies, basically. Taiwan has a lot of spies in China, and the satellite intelligence would be able to pick up all the military movements onto these ships. You know, the U.S. and Taiwan, they're watching these ferries, these giant ro-ro ferries. So any sort of suspicious movement, they're going to give everybody a heads up. And keep in mind, if these ships are loaded with tanks that are prepared for combat, they're already armed, they're already full of fuel. If one of these ships is hit by a harpoon missile, or even just a drone strike that has like white phosphorus that can just burn through the armor and ignite one of the vehicles within, it can cause a really vicious chain reaction.
The danger is because they're civilian looking.
Yeah.
You can't hit them beforehand, but you can certainly target them after the first missile strike or after the first cyber attack against Taiwan. Any type of action that's considered act of war, then they become legitimate targets. And then at this point, you look at Chinese has the largest navy of 350 ships. They are congregated in this little tiny area. And what do we call that? Target rich.
yeah.
That's target rich, right?
Target rich environment.
Target rich environment. So I don't know the war plan for now. I mean, I just can see. I see the preposition of stuff.
Any military attempts against Taiwan would almost certainly end in failure.
I agree.
Does that include the outer islands?
That's a different story.
That's a whole different story.
Outer islands is
I'm feeling proud of my question. I'm just sitting here nodding, like you just name dropping some missiles, and Topher is like, yeah, those missiles. I know exactly. But I have some good questions at all. Okay,
outer islands not defensible, but you know what it does? It's a trigger.
Yeah.
Because
it's a huge
if they do anything to the outer island, the next step is Taiwan. That gives the rest of the world time to prepare to come to help Taiwan. So it doesn't do China any good. If they do outer island first, they can't take Taiwan because the forces will be deployed. Coalition forces will be so deployed that they can touch Taiwan.
And if they do take the outer islands, it will trigger just a huge round of sanctions against China.
Exactly. Yeah. And economic sanction, all kinds of sanction, plus the give the rest of the world time to deploy troops forward, protect Taiwan. So that Taiwan dream's over.
Yeah. The idea of trying to make it a quick war vanishes.
It's gone. So it would be a drastic mistake. On the other hand, can they use information campaign to have the people in Jinmen vote become China?
This is the real threat.
That's the real threat.
Yeah, this is the real threat.
Because it's a democracy.
Yeah, the propaganda, using your enemy's tools against itself.
Yep. So will they use military against Jinmen? I don't think so. That'd be very stupid. Even Xi Jinping, as crazy as he is, he wouldn't do that. But I think he will certainly try to use information campaign. Right now, they're already doing it, actually. Convincing those people in Jinmen and Mazu that their livelihood depends on China and they're better off with China. And the funny thing is, 30, 40 years ago, Jinmen was the most anti-communist region. They are filled with the military and descendants. And in 1958, they fought a war in Jinmen, and Chinese lost. They tried to take Jinmen. So the memory of those things have kept Jinmen as the most anti-communist. But in recent time, the result of the economic integration and certainly information warfare, and some of the people in Jinmen might disagree with me, but from what I can see, there are more and more people in Jinmen that are pro-China now.
Just to bring some piece to my own mind, and also my mom, who I know will watch this. When you say like we will know in advance if these things start to like actually happen, are we talking weeks? Are we talking months? Or like
Months.
Months.
Oh yeah, Topher said it.
Months.
Human intelligence can capture intent. Tactical intelligence can see actual movement. You combine that two together, I would say months. It's not something they can gather all the forces in 3 days, a week. No.
In your opinion, the reality of the capability of the PLA to conquer Taiwan?
Oh, they're far from it. They have a lot of missiles, airplanes, ships, and their hardware is untested. People is the other part of the fighting capability. And their exercise partner has been the Russians. And you see how Russians did in Ukraine. Taiwan is free, like United States. There's freedom of speech, freedom of press. So a lot of pro-China media here that heighten the threat of the Chinese military. The fact is, No, it's not that bad. They constantly talk about the 1,600, 2,000.
Oh, the
missiles.
Yeah.
But the fact is, they only have less than 600 launchers. What percentage will actually work, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay, let's say they launch 90% of it, okay? 540 missiles, let's say, take off, right? The other 1,000 something is waiting to be reloaded in their depots. The fact is, after that first shot, those depots are dead because they can't move those depots. They're fixed targets, and Taiwan has ability to hit those sites. Second of all, let's say 540 missiles get up in the air toward Taiwan. How many actually will hit its target? Because you don't have to intercept all of them. The systems such as Patriot and TK3, the anti-missile systems, they can see, okay, this one's going to hit a fish pond. The one's going to hit your bases and stuff. You might intercept. So let's say they miss it and it hits, okay? It makes a crater 20 meters wide and debris falls around 60 meters. How many of those craters you have to create to slow Taiwan down in its defense capability? There's just not enough missiles. While all these pro-China media try to say how Taiwan, everybody's going to die if the war starts. No, far from it. Taiwan has one of the world's most robust defense system, and they not only the hardware and the software, the people is getting trained from U.S. military trainers that come here, and that's no secret. Mm-hmm. You know, Taiwan has a tremendous command and control system, robust, redundant. The unclassified name of the system is called Xun'an. Everything that Taiwan purchased since 20 years ago has to be able to link to that command and control system. So it's survivable because it's redundant, it's widespread, and it's a multi-domain because it's not just based on some fiber optics. It's using different methods. So the fog of war doesn't slow Taiwan down in its defense. So they're going to have a hard time. And I think Topher talked about how defense has an advantage. I don't think China can so easily attack Taiwan as many people have said.
It's very, very different than the conflicts in Gaza and Ukraine. Mm-hmm. There we're seeing a lot of artillery-based, like rocket artillery. China's rocket artillery just doesn't have the range to reach Taiwan proper. So they're using these big missile launcher trucks that are like the size of a semi-truck to have the capability to actually do a surface-to-surface target to Taiwan. Again, how accurate are these missiles?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. You know, when Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan, they shot a bunch of missiles over Taiwan, and several of them, I think 3 of them, landed in Japanese waters. Mm-hmm. China didn't have an answer for that.
Yeah,
for
I'm sure they didn't intend for that to happen, but it did.
Yeah.
There was some article that were mentioning like entire Taiwan's infrastructure and like internet is like one cable under the ocean.
There's not just one, it's multiple. However, internet underwater cable is something we all must worry about because Taiwan is an island and its internet does come in through several sources. The Chinese have been caught recently using their ships dragging their anchors to break underground cables in another area, not Taiwan. Okay?
Yeah, they did it against Finland once Finland decided they were going to join
NATO.
Yeah. There are probably a lot of vulnerabilities that a hacker, that a cyber attack can take advantage of, though, that can affect infrastructure and internet and all sorts of things.
It's possible. Taiwan, on the other hand, has one of the world's best cyber defense. Taiwan has organizations that is busy every day defending Taiwan's cyber system.
I saw the numbers of like the daily cyber attacks. It was like astronomical.
It's millions. And the good thing is, as they attack Taiwan, they expose their methodology. Mm-hmm. So the rest of the world learns from Taiwan's experience because usually the PRC use similar tactics against the rest of the world. So the world actually benefits from Taiwan's experience.
I have just a quick question about China's rapid military buildup and modernization. I think it's one of the largest since World War II.
Oh, yeah.
what kind of challenges does that bring to an organization? Like, I can imagine that would come with a lot of training issues, command and control issues.
A lot of new people.
A lot of new people, yeah.
Inexperienced people. The aircraft carriers. Pilots have to learn how to operate, take off and land on the carrier. China is very opaque, so you don't know how many aircraft they lost, but I'm sure there are a lot. You know, a lot of challenge logistically. The more new stuff, the different stuff you have, the bigger the logistic infrastructure you must have, because different parts. So huge challenge, and I haven't seen those classified stuff for a long time, for over a decade. So I don't know how well they're doing, but I think you hit the nail in the head. It is a challenge.
It seems to me that the future of warfare is involved with drones.
Oh, yeah.
And drone defenses. And it seems to me that Taiwan is set up with its semiconductor industry and with just its high precision manufacturing ability to maybe become a world leader in drone defense systems.
Absolutely. Drone is a threat. And if you look at drone shows that China has been doing with the Dragon Year, where they can operate literally hundreds of drones together and formulate beautiful pictures, that is also drone swarm warfare capability, because they can synchronize activities of thousands of these darn things coming over. The good thing is these drones don't have the range to cross Taiwan Strait. But if it's launched by people, the Fifth Element, for example, so Taiwan should develop drone defense, such as using radio frequency to jam the control, because this is the threat. Even though F-15EX is not stealthy, you will have stealthy drones going ahead of it to open the door for it.
Giving it all that sensor data and everything.
Yeah, and also
data.
destroy any air defenses as you go in. So stuff like that, the drone has opened a new chapter in how to conduct warfare. It is revolutionary.
Oh, wow. That's stealth at a much cheaper level, too.
A much cheaper level, and these suckers can go in there, the enemy, whether they want to engage or not. If you engage, you expose yourself. And if you don't engage, they can still find you and kill you. Good question, and that's a long answer. I'm sorry.
No problem at all. It's...
Oh my gosh, that's going to change air power so much.
So much, yeah.
The next decade is going to be crazy.
That was all the questions for this video, actually, but there will be another video in this mini-series about the safety and the overall Taiwan situation. So please do remember to subscribe to this channel, and that video will be here shortly. And if you want to hear even more about this conversation, then me and Topher has also recorded a separate membership-only video, which you can actually watch right now as this video is out. And by becoming a member, 100% of that money also goes straight back into this channel and make it possible for me to make more videos talking more about Taiwan every single week. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Lukas. It starts with L as in like, ends with S. It's subscribe. Please do both, and see you all in the next one.